Start with
just kind of
start with the statement. And
okay, I didn't know if you want to make a statement, Kevin, or just ask me a question.
yeah, I'll do a short statement, but mostly kind of rely on some questions and things like that as we go forward. So I think the reason we're here today is the fact that we were informed earlier this week that the federal government has shut down the Region 10 office for Head Start. And for us, that's been, for many, many years, that has been our main conduit to the Office of Head Start in Washington, D.C. It is the place that helps us with compliance and regulatory issues, and it's our go-to and our federal support for our grant that we received to run Head Start, Early Learning Head Start in our region. And that's very concerning to us, partially because of the funding, but I think more so for what that means to our community. This is a program that supports the early learning of virtually 700 children from infant to 4 years old. Not only does it do that, but it also provides that kind of daycare and care for those parents and families that need that help. These are the eligibility requirements for this program are poverty level and below for certain types and sizes of family. And so what we know about this program is that it is incredibly impactful to the children and also the families and also, frankly, the workforce here. This is how we build people into our people who reinvest in our community. And the idea that that program is currently being consolidated and is potentially under scrutiny for long-term viability and worth is really concerning to us. So, yes?
So is there any information at this time to reassure Spokane families that Head Start will be operating come this fall?
Yeah, I think it's like many things we see in the federal government right now, some uncertainty and a message that is not complete. What we have is the idea that they're consolidating these offices from 10 to 5, I believe. And what that means is we have some concerns about drawing funding down and compliance and continued regulatory things that have always been part of this process. And I think what's important there too, this probably could have been part of the opening statement, but Head Start and federal financial aid are our two most regulated, high compliance, high accountability programs. So, the federal government and federal administration, their focus is on accountability, effective and efficient use of funds. And I will tell you, Head Start is absolutely one of those programs that is under a lot of scrutiny and a lot of accountability and pays back in return. And so we advocate like that with our 3 congressional offices. I've been in contact with all 3. All 3 have been very responsive and supportive and letting us advocate for that and the understanding that this is important. So at this point, everything is functioning as it has been. I think we're surprised and a little concerned when we saw that move on Monday that was unexpected.
I have a follow-up question.
Sure.
As well. Were there any grants or funding mechanisms that are now, I guess, void because this regional office has been closed?
No, not at this point. And it's like with many things that we are working through right now. Another example is the Department of Education staff being changed and federal financial aid loans going to the Small Business Administration. We were able to draw down that money this time, but there's uncertainty when you use new systems and new people and new processes to move that kind of money through a different kind of process. And so that's our concern at this point, is a consolidation and not having a lot of information about how that's being done and assurances that it will work correctly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as the success of the programs, what do you hear from students and families?
Well, I can tell you from firsthand experience. I think I've been in this job for almost 2 years, and one of the things I did is, Head Start reports directly to me, and the director of that program is somebody I spend a ton of time with, and I spend a ton of time at the sites. And I can tell you from walking through there, first and foremost, what it does for children who would not have that kind of opportunity for that kind of early learning is invaluable. You can talk to instructors in K-12 who will tell you they can see who the Head Start kids are when they walk in the classroom. Being educated is one of the greatest tools for advancing a community and a region that there is. And so allowing those students to get a head start in life and a positive step is, I think, incredibly important. And the other part too is that child care that is provided in the early learning environment provides those parents the opportunity to potentially come to our college, advance their career, gain skills, populate our workforce. And that's an important part for our whole community. And if you start taking that away, if that potentially was taken away, you would have not only these young children without that opportunity to get that educational head start, but now you have parents who have a daycare issue. And I think we all realize that certainly during the pandemic, that really became evident, is how many people came back to the workforce was directly related to how many people could afford and find daycare.
Has Spokane Colleges had any communication from the federal government on moving forward with this consolidation or the closures of the regional office?
Not directly, but in cases like this, of course, we go to Congressman Baumgartner's office, Senator Murray's office, Senator Cantwell's office, and we, they've been very responsive to me. I've asked questions about what we do and how we do it so they can advocate for us. So they're up there doing advocacy on their level, but no direct responses to us as an institution. Just brief updates from the Office of Head Start is all. So.
Has Spokane Colleges reached out to the administration or HHS for guidance?
No, there's nowhere to direct that request to at this point. As the offices have changed, it leaves us with a void in connecting effectively with the federal government. And that's, of course, one of our concerns.
I guess if there's anything you'd want to stress for folks who may not be familiar with the program or what the
Yeah.
implications might be.
Yeah, I can give it from a personal perspective. I think, early learning and Head Start has been in our communities for decades and decades. I knew what it was always, but having this opportunity to work directly with the program shows me on a personal level and a professional level that this is not just a resource that benefits the individuals that are part of it. It benefits all the people around it, the parents, the children, the relatives, the workforce. If you take Head Start out of this community, there will be a ripple effect that will last for decades. And people need to understand that, because we often look at federal funds right now and what's happening to the federal government. There's a perception that if you take this money away, it will only affect this group of people. That is not what will happen with Head Start. If Head Start funds are taken away, it will cause a larger impact that will not be positive. So, and I appreciate very much the responsiveness of our congressional delegates, and hope that there's a possibility that their advocacy can help us in DC.
I guess just to drill down on the message to Head Start families right now who may just be hearing about this and concerned about what does this mean for my child's daycare, for their education, anything you can share with those families about this right now?
Yeah, and I'm concerned too, but also we're trying to take a pragmatic approach and be facts-based. The changes this week, although they're problematic for us from an administrative level, our services are going to continue to be provided at the same high level they always have been, and continue to move forward until we're told differently. And while we're in that process, we are going to continue to advocate at a federal level through our congressional delegates and any other avenues we can find, because we believe in this program and we think it's really important to our Spokane and Spokane region. Okay. I'll run away as soon as there's no question.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
And then we do have an opportunity, if any of you need like exterior shot of a center, Bobby can reach out to the Martin Luther King Center in the East Central neighborhood and let them know you'd be coming by and just that you'd be outside taking photos and just obviously trying to respect the privacy of the staff and the families at this point. Are there any particular
Yeah,
guidelines?
I think as long as you're doing something from the outside, we want to make sure if there's children on the playground that we're not getting them in the photos, but they should be napping, so we should be good to go. And I'll give them a heads up if it's going to be relatively soon, but if it's later in the afternoon, I can almost assure you they'll be out there in this warm weather. So just be respectful of that boundary. We don't release this for those kiddos.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the time and come down and listen.